And so, beloved masters, greetings on this evening. Here we are with the first teaching of 2026. We are still considering going deeper into love within. And tonight, we're going to really look at discovering the inner self, because we talk about it all of the time. And when people hear inner self, there is a lot of places that the logical mind can go. But it is to really feel your inner self, to find your inner self, to live, most important part, your inner self. Because there are lots and lots and lots of words being spoken, beautiful words, truly enlightening and educational words. But as the logical mind listens to them, it allows you to just ride on the surface of whatever is being spoken. And logical mind is skeptical in many ways. Logical mind is doubtful in many ways. And truly, quite frequently, the logical mind in these times is fearful of anything that suggests change. And certainly, discovery of what's going on inside of you takes courage, it takes faith, it takes discipline, because even though the logical mind says, well, that makes it sound like a lot of hard work to know myself. And what we would say is, you are worth it. You are valuable. You are important. You are worthy. Things that you're told by the outer world, you are not. And many generations have grown up being told that they just don't have what it takes. The fact that you are here today in 2026 says that you've got what it takes to keep moving. Because there are many that at the beginning of 2025, they were on the planet and now they're not. And it is choice. And logic says, but if they were killed in a war, if they were killed by the so-called police that are patrolling many of the cities in the United States, that wasn't their choice. And yet, I can tell you that the desire to live right can become a challenge. not just a challenge to the person who hopes they're living right, but as they move along through their life, many people tend to move into a place of defensiveness about what they believe is right. Discovering the inner being of yourself oftentimes requires determination. It requires faith. It requires the courage to meet who you are, the courage to meet who you are. Will myself shame me when I find myself within? And it is, beloved masters, guilt and shame are accusations of the illusion. It's, you might say, for the logical mind, quite a psychological discovery to find out how absolutely fragile human beings can be when they are shamed, when they are told they are guilty, when everything that they seek to create is criticized, condemned. Humans can be very cruel, and therefore finding that inner self in this time requires that you really spend time feeling into yourself, looking for kindness, looking for love, looking for a sense of peacefulness, looking and seeking to connect within you with the aspects of you that celebrate who you are, with the part of you that recognizes your value. Dearly beloved masters, we see how beautiful humanity is in the midst of everything that is going on in the outer world. Humanity is intrinsically good. It is to recognize it even more powerful to accept it in yourself, to find who you are within and really love who you are, to feel in love with yourself. It can bring you to tears, and that's all right, because there are many on the planet in this time that have been afraid of their tears. Part of the punishment or shaming that they have experienced in this current life or many before, was the idea that if you would cry, you're weak, that if you would shed tears, that you have not got what it takes to survive in the world. But beloved masters, we are talking about more than just surviving. We're talking about living powerfully in love with yourself and finding that as you feel that love within yourself, it becomes easier and easier to love others. The logical mind wants to have reasons to love. Spirit is about loving no matter what. So feeling that unconditional love, feeling the power of loving yourself without an explanation, without excuses, without having to defend why you would love yourself. Dearly beloved masters, we love you no matter what. God created you. God and Goddess love you all together. Everything that you are. Because, after all, beloved masters, living is an educational experience. Living is going to this university of the universe and experiencing life a little differently every time you take another course. You start a new life and you perhaps have chosen a different set of values in the people that you would choose for this particular life. Perhaps in the last life, your teachers were people that looked at life from a very different perspective than the choice you've made for this life. Your soul, the true spirit connected to the divine, has created what we can really only call a script for you to look at in this lifetime. And you have free will. So as you consider within yourself, what do I desire to accomplish? Who do I wish to be? Am I willing to love myself unconditionally? Or will I listen very closely to the teachings of those that birthed me into this life or those that are raising me now and model myself around what they have said, even though it doesn't feel true to me. Feel it within you, in your heart, in your soul, in your body brain, which is connected to heart and soul, where the logical mind, it could be called the personal self, very often is so focused out in the world about making a living, making a name, having the things that each generation tells the next one, this is what you've got to have to be successful, even to be a good person. And now it's as though that pot has boiled over and it's just flowing everywhere. People are looking to just take from other people. I want what you've got. I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. I have more money than you. So I will just take your life, your savings, your value away from you. But the earth is in a process of change. And each individual is feeling within themselves shifts and changes that many would even interpret as a call of spirit to investigate, a call of spirit to learn more about yourself, a call of spirit to care for who you are, to care for you. Sharing is actually a way of loving yourself while you're loving others. When you share what you got, and you share it because you feel the idea within you, this would be a very positive thing to do. And your logical mind may just look at that and say, there is no way you can do that. But lovingly allowing, not trying to do something, but allowing yourself to share. And it makes you feel better. It makes you feel better, even though you may still be fending off the ego's barrage of complaints and accusations about how could you have done that? Who do you think you are? What makes you think that that isn't endangering yourself in the physical world? So, dearly beloved masters, discovering the inner self in many ways calls for a commitment to who you are. A commitment to love, a commitment to change, a commitment to move forward, a commitment to feel inside how absolutely beautiful life can be when you are willing to partner with your higher self, with your soul self, with God, Goddess, all that is. So discovering the inner self requires spending quiet time feeling into yourself and finding the blocks and the obstacles, oftentimes the old wounds that have prevented you from moving forward, from being more. It isn't that you cannot be more, because you were divinely created to discover lifetime after lifetime how much more you are than you've been allowed to know. And yes, as you discover how much more you are than you have been allowed to know, dearly beloved masters, you will meet the challenge of your own logical mind attempting to make you small again, to keep you down, to prevent you, if at all possible, from moving forward, from becoming more. And you may feel sad. It may hurt your feelings. You may feel embarrassed, punished by the logical mind of yourself and others. And yet, if you are lovingly committed to knowing your deepest self, then all of the warnings that the logical mind has given you about the dangers of going within, and you breathe deeply, sit quietly, and just feel into yourself. I don't feel anything. Breathe deeper and follow the breath. Well, I thought I felt something, but it didn't feel particularly good. At least you are now beginning to touch what we would call the surface. And beneath that surface perspective of yourself is the truth of how great you are. And the ego mind looks at greatness with pride. It struts around on the stage telling everyone how great it is. But more often than not, that kind of behavior comes from a deep-seated fear that I'm not that good. So I'm going to put on a mask. I'm going to even put on glamour, the old magic of appearing to be something that you're not. Honesty, integrity, transparency, authenticity, words that mark this time of turning and call each one to step away from the world of illusions that you've looked at and believed in for many lifetimes. So coming home to yourself, many of you are walking around the outside of your home, feeling as though you can't find a way in. And it's vitally important that you understand the way in is not from the outer physical world. The way in is you being willing to allow yourself to come inside. Well, why wouldn't I allow myself to come inside? That's a very good question that you can sit down with your spirit, with your soul self, and ask, why would I ever deny myself entry into my own home? After all, God gave me this home. And even though it's changed over lifetimes, energetically, it is still my home. And I am spiritually connected to all that I am. Another consideration for these times, as you are finding this inner self, lives that you have lived in other times are still a part of you. Logic would give the illusion that you live a life and it ends, and if you come back again, it's a totally separate, whole new perspective. But since who you are lives forever, the soul is eternal, then every life you've lived has contributed to who you are today. And it isn't to go back and try to find those lives and get rid of them or do away with them or even lock them up. It is about loving yourself so well that you can love every aspect of yourself. And logic says, but what if I was a bad person? What did you learn from it? Or what can you learn today that will benefit you in the ongoing? Because certainly you spend enough time focusing on things that you don't like about yourself or things that you have come upon that you could not believe you would have ever done such a thing. And then the logical mind says, well, we've got to figure out how to get rid of this. And to know yourself perhaps would be to, in a quiet time, meditative time, go within and meet yourself and sit down and ask some questions of you and be willing to listen. Don't be prepared to judge. Don't be prepared to turn away. I don't believe this. It's all crazy anyway. How could I possibly sit down and be with myself the same way, dearly beloved masters, that you could call on any of the masters that you are working with now in this current life and ask us to come and sit in on your conversation with yourself. Get to know you. When you really love someone, you know that they're not perfect, and yet you love them because love is greater than all of the emotions that have separated humanity out from itself and from each other in these times. You are the sum total of every life you've ever lived. And primarily because you were created to find the good, to give, to share the best. It is that the majority of your lifetimes have been directed to that focus. Some, especially in, we will say, the last possibly 10 or 12 centuries. You may have decided out of curiosity to see what it is like to live focused outside. Because the turning that was about 50,000 years ago has been very gradually moving humanity in ways to look away from themselves. So coming home to yourself means that you're going to get to look at choices that you have made in perhaps more recent times, and to just forgive them. Forgiveness doesn't mean I'll pretend that didn't happen. Forgiveness means I love so well that I can love even at the things that I find that I've done. I can forgive myself. I can be with me. I can care for me. I can enlighten myself so that I don't carry the judgments that have perhaps set me on a path that I am now discovering. I wish I hadn't made that choice, but you did. So, since this is the University of the Universe, what have you learned? What are you willing to learn that will allow you to move forth from this moment in relationship with yourself, in love with yourself, allowing that you listen, that you feel, that you stand with yourself, stand with yourself, not standing up for yourself. That's a battle. That's a war. When you stand with yourself, it is friendship. It is love in the highest order. When you stand with yourself, that's when you know who you are within. You've met and you're finding your inner self. You've met and you're finding your inner self. So, dearly beloved masters, it is time to allow yourself to really feel within. And so I work through a human vehicle. And I love this human vehicle. And there are times when that humanity can be a challenge to all that we create. That that is a great part of what this life on earth is about. Finding the ability to be so anchored in yourself that you can look upon even thoughts that you have, even desires to take actions that may astound you. I can't believe I had that thought. And yet, you have chosen to be human. You have chosen to be the truth of all that you are. So, in love with yourself, you live well with you. You forgive you. You care for you. To learn to meet your fears, meet your fears, and let them go. The more you feel yourself in yourself, the easier it is to be with you. You can experience things that throughout many lifetimes have been considered so terrible, so horrific, that now in this time, as you may find things that you have created in the past, it is to let that go. One of the first things that anyone is called to go through as you come to meet yourself, get out of your head. Get out of your head. Because your logical mind has been for lifetimes leading you away from that divine connection within. You may have been deeply involved with religion. You may have followed what intellect would call a sacred path. And yet the logical mind will teach such subtleties that will lead you away from who you are. And so, beloved masters, to discover yourself, you may know that you're there, but you may not have really allowed yourself to have the experience of becoming intimately connected with yourself. Who am I? Feel it. That's not a logic question. Who am I? I'm a divine creative master. What does that mean in the overall scheme of things? It means that I am special. And the logical mind says, special. That means I'm better than you are. I'm better than they are. But from our understanding, special means there's not another one like you anywhere. Now, that may sound absolutely wonderful till you begin to logically consider that if there's not another one like you anywhere, then who are you going to ask what to do when you can't think of how to do it? And truly, beloved masters, you are capable within yourself of discovering amazing answers, even about self-discovery. Here I am. I've found myself. Now what? Love. Discover the depths of love. The deepest, the most profound, the most amazing aspects of love. And that will require, for many of you, meeting where you stop yourself from loving beyond that point or letting love end beyond a certain place. And that is a product of many lifetimes moving into separation. And now it's a whole new and very different time. And you can't look back because there's not ever been a time like this before. So you can't look back and make references to where I'm going because of where I've been. You can look back. You may look back and find other lifetimes when you were doing similar things. And now it would appear that you might be doing those same things over again. How can I do this differently? That's a logic question. Show me, Spirit, the ability to find a new direction that will allow me to really live myself well. And it isn't about force, and it isn't about threat, and it isn't about avoidance. It's about getting to know who I am completely. Completely. every little quirk. When you fall in love with someone, at least in the blush of new beginnings, you want to know everything about them. You watch them, you study them, you feel them, you experience them. And as time passes, if it's truly love, then you can love the whole person. And you don't pick out the parts you like or don't like and break the individual down into parts. You love them all, the whole of them, every bit, no matter what. Now, self-love also says, and you do not dishonor or discount yourself by giving your power away to the opinions of others, by allowing yourself to be abused by others, but it requires patience, discernment. And humanity is not terribly discerning in these times. They're in too much of a hurry to really take the time to feel into what's going on in any given situation. And the world is discovering what choices that were made without a great deal of consideration based on outer world issues. What an amazingly powerful influence they can have on the lives of those that made those choices and the lives of everyone else on the planet. Since so much that is going on out in the world is based on taking sides, then, beloved masters, taking sides must be forgiven. Because who you are to you is not about politics. It isn't about religion. It isn't about what you've got to show the world, an influencer. It is about who you are at the very beginning of time and who you still are today that you may have stepped away from over time. And beloved masters, feeling the depths of love, going deeper into yourself to really get to know all that you are. And as you're looking, as you're seeking, as you are putting forth the energy to really find you, this is a very important discovery. So it isn't something you just do occasionally when you're bored. If you establish ritual, something with which you can start the day, celebrating the sun, honoring the directions, blessing the elements, being one with the fire, the air, the earth, and the water that surrounds you. Getting in touch with nature. For this is a natural world. The logical mind is doing its best to dismiss nature altogether, even to discount humanity to a certain extent as an important and valuable part of what's going on. So yes, discovering who you are is a challenge, and it's worth it. As I said in the beginning, you are worth finding yourself. You are, each one of you, a contributor to everything that's going on this planet. You are, in these times, a beacon. And many of you have attempted to turn out your light or to cover it up. But now it's time to let the beacon shine, to shine your light into the world. It isn't about something that you have to prove. It isn't about something that you have to do that gets a lot of attention. It can be quiet things that are done without any attention or fanfare. As long as you acknowledge that you are sharing who you are, it is the more you share, the more will return to you. Everything you accomplish goes out into the world and returns to you magnified. So, positive actions, positive thoughts, positive feelings rather than emotional reaction, all of those return to you magnified. More good, more love, more strength, even more support. And if the thoughts that you're putting out into the world are detrimental, then those thoughts will also return magnified. And yet detriment magnified tends to diminish. So when you are putting out love, when you are allowing the support of the divine and you are sharing that with others, not an idea or a theory or a concept that you think someone else should follow, but the fact that you can love yourself so well, love yourself so deeply, that you can love everyone else, that you can love them because they are. It isn't about making excuses. It isn't about saying they didn't do that. It isn't even really about saying, oh, well, it's all right. When deep within you, you feel that it isn't. But you can change your perspective of what you're seeing in others. And that begins to change your perspective of what you're seeing in yourself. The more positively you look upon yourself, the more positive you can look upon others. Living calm, tranquil, courageous, peaceful, lives of gratitude and faith. And even as I name these aspects, these attributes of life, are you listening to them and saying, well, that's not who I am? And I'm saying to you, you've got it. It's in you. It's your choice to find it, to identify it, to experience the love, the faith, the joy, the consistency, the gratitude. Feel it, live it, and be amazed at how you begin to find that either the people in your life are changing or they're not there any longer. And the people that are coming into your life are much more matching the vibrational frequency that you are living and broadcasting out into the world. So each one of you, a beacon, know yourself, understand the power, the origin, if you would, of that light. Feel it in yourself. Feel it in your heart, in your soul. It changes your molecular structure. It actually can shift how your DNA functions. It isn't going to change the lives that were, but it certainly potentially is going to change where you are going now and how. And so to disallow anger, it is in many ways an unwanted guest. So it is a courageous, determined, patient way of living that I will not allow the thoughts and ideas that take away from my life to be with me, which means you forgive worry, you forgive fear, you forgive self-recrimination, and you live you strong in love, clear in your understanding, powerful in your wisdom, and you hold your intention, your focus. I am a beacon. Show me within. Assist me to really recognize how it feels inside to be a beacon. It doesn't deny your humanity. It allows you, if anything, to delight in your human beingness even more, to live it well, to enjoy yourself. Dearly beloved, amazing, divine, creative masters, you feel yourself. You feel yourself within. So just keep going deeper, exploring more, expanding what you're looking for. I'm seeking to find myself, all of myself. Because if I only look for one part of myself, the good because that's all I want to know, or the negative because I've got to get rid of it. But when you look at all of it, it becomes whole. And that wholeness gives you a whole new perspective as you look out over the world. You will begin to be aware there is more and more light happening on the planet. There is more and more enlightenment coming forth, even in the darkness. As we have reminded many times, it's far better to light one candle than it is to curse the darkness. So, dearly beloved masters, as you hold on to the love and let go of everything that you have in this outer world experience believed you could not live without. And when you think about that and it frightens you, then stand with yourself and meet the fear. Stand with yourself and meet the fear. will be with you. Your spirit is with you. Your connection to the divine is with you. So it is a time of coming up over, a time of transcendency, a time of ascension. These first 3 months of 2026 are going to seem more insane, more chaotic than ever. And yet, things are slowly beginning to go in a different direction. Faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these, that endures above all, is love. So, beloved masters, we delight in your progress, even though you may believe you're not making any. From our perspective, if you allow yourself to look, you will be astounded at how much progress you're making. Feel it deep inside of you. And as you feel it deep within, it is changing you from the inside out. Be with it. Accept yourself in love. And be absolutely amazed at how life begins to respond to you. Things that you may have desired for a long time may suddenly come. And at every point, you have a choice. If you've been waiting for something for a long time and suddenly it comes into your life, it's coming into your life because it's time. If you're just now discovering yourself, then there are things that you were required to learn, to accomplish, to experience. But when something comes to you that you waited for, according to the ego, an impossible length of time, you can either say, oh, I finally have found this, or I finally have been gifted by the divine in this. Or you can say, well, it's about time. You took long enough. And take a bitter, disgruntled perspective, which in many ways negates a lot of the joy of receiving something that you've been waiting for a long time. If you embrace it in love, if you are grateful for it being with you, it can magnify and expand and bring you more. But if you are looking at it as though some way you were being persecuted for not getting it. And now, finally, it's time that someone recognized you. Then that is what will return to you. That's what will be magnified in your life. You attract the people who surround you by what you think. You attract the life you're living by where you put your focus. Because thinking positive thoughts now and then, but not focusing on them or acting on them when you feel guided doesn't make you a positive thinker. Unless, of course, you're just positive things aren't going well. But that's not particularly positive. So creating a loving environment for yourself, within yourself, and living that loving environment for yourself because you are worthy. And as you fill yourself up with that love and that light and those powerfully positive thoughts, you begin to draw more and more beacons to you. Your light attracts their light, where your darkness, the heaviness, the sadness attracts, magnetizes those who are in the same place. People that feel miserable cannot understand why they attract people who are miserable. But like in that manner really does attract like. But in the outer world, you hear like attracts like, and you hear opposite attract. So logic says, well, what is it? Potentially, it's all of it. Potentially, it is that you can attract people like you, and you can also attract people that are opposite you. Because if you're really focused on loving yourself and standing with yourself and enjoying what you're discovering, you'll begin to attract all kinds of people that when you were invested in worry and fear and limit and doubt and not enough, you seem to either attract no one, or the ones that you attracted simply provided a mirror you didn't particularly want to look in. So those are things to let go of as you're discovering yourself. Those things that you have lived with or lived as so long that you can't imagine who you would be if you didn't do those things. So making changes, positive, powerful, loving changes, is a gift first to yourself. And Spirit, the divine, absolutely loves magnifying the positive, loving things you put out. And because it's a divine law, there is a certain amount of, we won't call it unhappiness, but certainly a bit of a feeling of it's unfortunate that what is being returned is more negativity, because divine law magnifies whatever you're putting out. So, beloved masters, discovering yourself, discovering, recognizing, feeling in you now and now and now and now. And the challenge is, all right, I've thought enough about myself. Now I've got to get back to worrying about what's going on out in the world. No, it is about focusing on that powerfully loving connection with yourself, with the divine. Because the more you love yourself, the more others will feel how you love, and they will be drawn to it. So living the love is a great assistance in finding what you're looking for yourself. The answers you are looking for are in there with you. They're not out in the world. If they were out in the world, all your worry and your focus on trying to get answers would have already been answered. But it is these times of change literally call you to let go. Let go. Or let go. But open your grip energetically, mentally, emotionally, physically. Open yourself and let go of what you find fear in the idea of letting it go. That is what really requires to be released. So, dearly beloved masters, amazing, divine, creative masters, you are a magnificent and powerful influence on the world, no matter what. But as you love yourself so well that you will seek to make positive, powerful changes in yourself for your own ongoing, that influences all those around you. Whether they change is up to them. But as you are allowing that positive to flow, you are transforming your own surroundings. You are allowing your inner connection to truly influence your forward motion. Because in love, you really can't stand still. In love, you move forward. In love, you are constantly discovering new things that you can add into your life to make it better, that you can share with others as they are willing, that you can recognize what would truly help them rather than what I think they should want. So, in love with yourself, you may find the courage to ask, what do you require? How can I help you? And listen to what they say. Ask only if you mean it. And be so humble that if they ask you for something that you don't have and you cannot give them, that you have the courage to say, I don't have that. But I will certainly keep myself open to discover some way to assist you in accomplishing that if it's for your highest good. And if it's for your highest good, isn't your choice. It's the choice of the divine. I don't get to decide whether you should make the choices you're making. I simply get to decide within myself that if I can assist you, I will. And if I feel inside that I'm not the person to have the courage to say, I'm not that person. Because the training has been, no matter what anyone else asks of you, no matter how much it would take away from your good, you are supposed to give it to them. And that's why there is so much monumental power giveaway on the planet. And so, beloved masters, going ever deeper into yourself in love and making an honest and consistent effort to really discover who you are. You are never alone. You are required to accomplish things for yourself, but you are also required to understand in love that without the divine, you accomplish nothing. And so, beloved masters, as love permeates every aspect of your life, you begin to see what can come. You don't really see the future, but you certainly begin to see its potential. And you can allow that potential to fill you up, to bring you good, to lead you forward. And the more that you are responsive to that alignment, that inner connection to divine assistance, the more you will love the life that you're living. And so, beloved masters, in the greatest of love, in pure love that requires no measure or judgment, we love you in your ongoing, no matter what. We love you. And so, beloved masters, until we meet again, in whatever manner that may be, I bid you adieu.